The Twitter sphere has plunged into bickering drama with Sussex squad fans of Harry and Meghan and supporters of William pitted against one another. One Twitter user highlighted the fact that Simon Case, the civil servant tasked with probing the No. 10 Christmas party during lockdown, used to work for William. Mr. Case has stepped aside from his role leading an inquiry into the alleged Downing Street lockdown party after it emerged a similar event was held in his own office. The Twitter user called SierraBo22 reacted and tweeted, "Well, if disgraced CVO Simon Case is no longer needed, he can always return to his previous job at Kensington Palace, where he helped to concoct PR stunts for / with Prince William." Downing Street has now said the probe would be continued by senior civil servant Sue Gray. A spokesperson for No. 10 said, "To ensure the ongoing investigation retains public confidence, the Cabinet Secretary Simon Case has recused himself for the remainder of the process." Another Twitter supporter of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex hit out at the news that Mr. Case was forced to step down. The Twitter user called Archie's servants said, "If and when Simon Case gets fired, he will just head back to continue wreaking havoc at Kensington Palace." Another supporter of Harry and Meghan tweeted, "Months after Harry and Meghan's wedding, tabloid editors were invited to understand what the newspapers were about. Government experts were deployed = flagged smear campaigns targeting the Sussexes." Linked to the above tweet was a news piece about William making connections with UK news editors and political figures. Mr. Case stepped down from the probe into the Downing Street party allegations after it was discovered that approximately 15 people were invited to a similar gathering at 70 Whitehall. Responding to the claims, a government spokesperson said, "Staff in the Cabinet Secretary's private office took part in a virtual quiz on December 17, 2020. A small number of them, who had been working in the office throughout the pandemic and on duty that day, took part from their desks, while the rest of the team were virtual. The Cabinet Secretary played no part in the event, but walked through the team's office on the way to his own office. No outside guests or other staff were invited or present. This lasted for an hour and drinks and snacks were bought by those attending." He also spoke briefly to staff in the office before leaving. Another news, Her Majesty may have to cancel or change her plans if the government imposes tougher restrictions to stop the spread of the Omicron variant. It is understood that she is currently awaiting advice from her senior aides who are in regular contact with No. 10 officials. The monarch, 95, is keen to celebrate her festive season as traditionally as possible, with all of her family at Sandringham in Norfolk. Her Majesty has suffered from bouts of illness recently, and is planning to fly to the estate on Wednesday by helicopter rather than train. A source told, "The Queen and the rest of the family are mindful the situation is ever-changing and many thousands of families may also be affected. A decision on whether the Queen travels as planned will be made as soon as possible. If alternative arrangements need to be made, right up to the last minute as per government advice, Her Majesty will lead from the front." The Queen may also cancel her traditional Christmas Day walkabout over fears it could become an Omicron superspreader. She cancelled her usual Sunday devotions at Windsor Castle yesterday in an attempt to scupper her beloved family day. Her Majesty has already called off her festive family party as COVID rips through the UK. Thousands of royal watchers normally gather to greet members of the firm during their annual December 25 stroll, with some queuing from the early hours of the morning to catch a glimpse of the royal clan. But aides have reportedly advised the monarch to close the gates to her private grounds to curb coronavirus transmission. The Sandringham estate in Norfolk may not be closed altogether, but sources claim staff fully expect the famous footpath will be fenced off. It was also called off last year when daily infections were also on the rise and the UK entered lockdown. The Queen had been due to host the Duke and Duchess of Cornwall, among 50 or so other members of the royal family, at Windsor Castle on December 21. There was due to be wine, crackers and a feast inside the castle, before the monarch set off for Sandringham for the big day itself.